Flying RC planes is something I don't usually do on my channel. Yes, I've flown a few planes in the past, but it's something I've never really got into properly. Recently I thought to myself I would love to get into RC planes properly. I'd love to get a proper beginner plane which is well known in the hobby for being one of the best. I wanted to see just how easy it really is to fly an RC plane here in the UK, because there's certain laws that we have to follow and things that we have to do, and then of course experience putting an RC plane together, getting everything connected up and set up. That is really something I wanted to try, and then to actually be brave enough to go out and give it a go for myself. I've seen endless RC plane videos online, and I've always thought to myself that is something I would love to get into. Not necessarily doing endless RC plane videos on my channel because, well, everybody knows I review RC cars. That's primarily the focus on my channel, but this is just something I wanted to explore. Now here in the UK there's certain laws in place which state you can't fly anything over 250 grams without getting something called a flyer ID and an operator ID. Now it's entirely up to you whether you decide to follow the law. If you want to go and fly an RC plane illegally, then of course that is entirely up to you. But here on YouTube I have to show you the right way of doing it, which is why we're going to talk a little bit more about staying on the right side of the law. Now let's talk about the flyer ID first of all. Now this is for the pilot, it's free of charge, and you get it by passing a simple free online theory test on the CAA website. This test covers the drone and model aircraft code, and your flyer ID is valid for 5 years. Next we've got the operator ID. Now this is for the person responsible for the aircraft. You must be 18 or over to get one. There is a small annual fee which is around £11.79 as of 2025. Now this is a unique number that you must display on your plane or your drone. One operator ID covers all of your planes or drones. So do you need to get both of these? Well, generally yes, if your plane weighs over 250 grams or has a camera. However, even if the plane is under 250 grams, it's highly recommended to get a flyer ID to understand the rules. The only exception is a toy under 250 grams without a camera. Now of course I'll put some links in the description below if you're interested in flying an RC plane for the first time, or a drone which is over 250 grams. I will leave some links down below so you can head over to the CAA registration page, check it out, you'll get a little bit of an idea as to what you need to do. Now look, I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I'm doing this the right way. I know some people out there will be thinking, look, we don't need any of this, we're just going to go and fly our RC plane, and look, that's absolutely fine, you're entitled to do what you want, but it's my job to tell you how to do it the right way. Now FMS have been kind enough to send me their PA-18 Super Cub, which surprisingly fits into a pretty small box, and of course it needs to be built before flying. Now the build process was nice and easy, and the instructions were really simple and easy to follow. The only thing that confused me slightly was the wiring side of things, and there are a lot of wires because you've got the Reflex system and of course you've got the receiver. Now it's actually straightforward, it looks more complicated than it is, but if you study the manual properly you'll actually see that it's not that difficult. Overall the plane went together really easily, it looks fantastic. It has a decent wingspan, and sometimes going for something slightly larger compared to a smaller plane is a better option because larger planes can be a bit more forgiving. So far then, my journey of becoming an RC plane pilot is going really well. I've got my flyer ID, I've got my operator ID. FMS have been kind enough to send me a plane, which is one of the best beginner options out there. Well, there's only one thing left to do. Now it's very windy today. Just going to adjust my trim. Well, that seems to be a little bit better. You getting a good shot there, Gary?
I'm doing my best. It gets lost in the clouds.
Yeah, it's because of the colour. Now remember, I'm a complete beginner, picking this thing up and going for it. I still need to try and adjust my trim settings properly. It feels a little bit twitchy. I think that's because you can't adjust the dual rates on this. You kind of just go with what you're given with the ready to fly. So far then, that is pretty stable, and that is in gyro stabilised mode. It is a bit windy today, so of course it's going to be a little bit twitchy. But now I'm kind of getting a feel for it. Still need to adjust my trim settings. I think. Oh!
But repairable with the...
Yeah, with the glue and stuff. Yeah, that can be fixed. I just need to repair the wing. I think that was a pretty good effort considering. It's turned into a basher. It's a plane basher.
Where's Kev Talbot when you need him?
So yeah, I think it's fair to say that my first go with this plane didn't exactly go to plan. Now when it was flying really nicely. It was in gyro stabilised mode, so it was helping me to keep things nice and stable. I did notice it felt a little bit twitchy, but the ready to fly transmitter doesn't have dual rate adjustment, so you kind of just have to go with it. You can very quickly repair them using hot glue and foam safe glue, which is exactly what I did. And then I gave it another go, and guess what? I crashed again. Yeah.
Oh.
The rudder has disconnected itself. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing many more planes on my channel. Well, I reckon tape. Got any tape?
I've got Gorilla Tape, yeah.
Now look, the way I see it is, this is all part of the learning process. When you're just starting out in RC planes, I can guarantee you're going to crash just like I did today. Now the good thing is, as long as you've got some tape and glue with you, you'll be very quickly back up in the air in no time.
Now the wind has stopped. Flies lovely.
Now again, just like before, the plane did feel a little bit twitchy at times, but I even got brave enough to try it in manual mode, and that was really fun. So now the plane was fixed and it was actually flying really nicely. I even managed to have a go at my first ever landing. And now there's a lesson to be learnt here. Don't get too confident too quickly, because if you do, this might happen.
Oh dear.
Me and Gary spent about 40 minutes trying to get the plane out of the tree. Thankfully we managed to get it back, but the bad news was it was in about 5 different pieces. So I think it's fair to say things didn't exactly go to plan, but I've definitely enjoyed the process and learning about how to actually go about flying an RC plane here in the UK properly. So what happened after filming the video? Well look, the good news is I haven't given up on the plane. I took it home later that evening and I managed to repair it back to usable condition. And since then I've been spending every other evening practicing, and I think it's fair to say my skill is definitely improving as an RC plane pilot, but also I'm really starting to enjoy it. And we're up. This time I took my son along with me, and even he enjoyed seeing the plane in action. And this is when I thought to myself, yeah, I'm enjoying this. I can definitely see myself getting into RC planes properly.
Make sure it doesn't crash. Good. That worked.
So there we go then guys, that was my RC plane journey from start to finish. Now it's really not that difficult to do things properly. Obtaining a flyer ID and an operator ID is really simple and easy to do. It's always best to do things properly rather than break the law, but of course that's entirely up to you. Now the plane itself was fantastic. I really can't fault the plane, and any crashes you see in this video are of course down to pilot error. Nothing to do with the plane. So am I going to stay flying, or is that the end of my RC plane journey? No, I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep flying because I really enjoyed the process. I think what really helped was having a good quality plane to actually learn with. Having that reflex system is of course going to come in handy if you're just starting out. Having the gyro to help you keep things nice and stable is definitely going to be a massive advantage compared to flying a plane that doesn't have a gyro system. Now if you're interested in the plane featured in today's video, I will leave leave a link in the description, but we're going to leave it there today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing my RC plane journey. Cheers for watching, see you on the next one, take care. I think it's fair to say that this was definitely an experience here on my channel. I have featured some smaller gyro stabilised planes in the past, and if you want to check those out, click one of these videos now.